What's going on, you guys? This is your boy Blake God Takes. This is my first ever YouTube video right here. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a long time now, just to talk sports. I can do it with my family. I do it on a daily basis already, so I figured why not start a YouTube channel and get this going? Maybe build up a little bit of a platform. I don't know. Just doing it for fun right now. Some weeks I may get on here and talk about football. I may get on here and talk about basketball, like today. I may even hop on here and talk about some baseball because I know the playoffs are going on right now. I'm not that big into baseball, but if I watch a game and I see something that I like to talk about, I'm going to do it and I'm going to put it on here. However, today we're going to be doing an NBA preseason overreaction, and also we're going to be talking about a little bit of NBA news that I've picked up over the week. And I didn't want to do a weekly NBA preseason thing. I wanted to kind of get into it a little bit before I made an overreaction or anything. And then hopefully within like the next week or so, I think my next video I'm going to do my predictions for the Eastern Conference and Western Conference standings. That should be a good little video there. But today, let's get into these preseason overreactions. As you can see, I got the Nets Lakers in the background behind me right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about that game, that matchup, because it was really the top two dogs, I think, going into this year. The Nets with LeBron James, Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. And then you got the Nets with Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. The two top dogs. Hopefully that becomes the finals, but you never really know. Injuries and everything. Anything can happen in the NBA playoffs. They matched up first game. The Nets won it, and it was pretty convincing. LaMarcus Aldridge came out and looked like he was in his prime. LaMarcus Aldridge running the pick and roll. He was ball handling. He was hitting mid ranges. He was passing. He was dealing. He was wheeling. He was doing it all for the Nets. They didn't have Harden or Durant play really at all. I'm pretty sure they didn't even suit up, and neither did LeBron or Westbrook. But that's besides the point, because when it came down to the bench players, the Nets were looking solid. And you could see behind me, it's specifically Cam Thomas, the rookie out of LSU. He was absolutely balling, and he's continued to since the preseason started. He has been one of the best rookies and most impressive rookies in my eyes. I'm not exactly surprised because he was probably the best scorer in all of the nation last year in college basketball. And he fell into the Nets' lap, I think late first round, 25th overall pick, something like that, I want to say. That was an absolute steal for them, especially because with the way Kyrie is looking right now, he may not even play this season. And I'm fully vaccinated. I'm not going to come out here and blame somebody else for what they want to do, but if Kyrie is not going to get vaccinated, which I think that he should, but he does not have to, that is his choice. If he is not going to get vaccinated and he's not going to play again, it's terrible for the league. Kyrie is one of my favorite players to watch. He's so smooth with the ball. He can hit shots, ISO, off ball, everything. He is a great basketball player. The league's going to miss him this year. But if Cam Thomas can step up into that point guard role for this Nets team, I think they'll be good. The next team I want to get into are my Charlotte Hornets. I went to the preseason game against the Memphis Grizzlies last week, and they got absolutely stomped on. They had zero answers for Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams. Once again this year, I think that the Hornets will be killed by the center position. The rebounding was atrocious on all levels. Often, like Steven Adams was getting offensive rebounds, doing whatever he wants, and ones off the putbacks. He was having his way with the young guys, and I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do this year unless Kai Jones steps up. Kai Jones is going to have to be a major piece for us this year, and he didn't even start. So we were running a lot of small ball, and they were getting dominated by the big Grizzlies. John Morant's my favorite player to watch. He was a joy to watch. He was dunking, he was laying, he was dishing, he was doing it all for them. So far, I think we lost to the Heat by 1 last night, but what's to say with the preseason? Bam didn't play much. Kyle Lowry had an okay game. Miles Bridges is the X factor for this team, however. The Hornets need to keep Miles Bridges, and they need to keep him for a long time. He is the X factor for this team. He does it all. During the Grizzlies game, he was probably the only dude. He probably scored 80% of our points in the first half. He's explosive. He's perfect with LaMelo. He can shoot. He can dunk. He can run the floor. They're a very exciting team to watch. However, I don't know if they're going to take the step that we think they were going to this year. They got absolutely busted in the play-in last year. I think that they can maybe make the play-in this year, but the East is stacked. There is no bad team in the NBA, in my opinion, right now. Like, you have, like, the Rockets, who are young, and they don't really know what they are yet. You have, like, the Timberwolves, who are, for some reason, never good. You have teams like the Magic, but the Magic, they have a bunch of young guys over there that I think could win some games. However, I do think the Hornets can maybe make the play-in. I don't think they're making a push, especially if they come up against, like, a Joel Embiid at any time, or even the Nets. They'll get washed by the Nets. Any team with a good big, I don't think they will really have a shot. However, LaMelo's looking good. I really like LaMelo. He needs to be here long term. I don't know if he wants to be here long term, honestly, but I mean, the team is his, really. You have Scary Terry hitting your shots late game, who's a great player. You have Gordon Hayward kind of doing it all, playing some defense, getting into the mid-range whenever everything's struggling. He's your guy whenever things are kind of getting tight on the offense. He kind of gets the ball rolling more a little bit. But LaMelo, that's his team. I feel like he should want to stay here long term because we got something going here. We just have to develop our young talent, i.e. I didn't even talk about James Bouknight. James Bouknight is a true scorer. Off the bench, I think he will be tremendous this year. He had a nasty dunk on, I forget who it was, but he had a nasty dunk on somebody in the preseason game that I was at, and he had like 20-something points. He impressed me a lot. Getting into the mid-range, getting to his bag, doing it all. Anyways, we need to develop him more, developing Kai Jones. JT Thor was really good. I think he was out of Auburn this year. He had a three, hit a mid-range, showing he could score a little bit. Yeah, man, the Hornets have a promising future. It's just all about developing. It's really what it's all about. I did want to mention one thing, however, before we get into this Ben Simmons drama, because there's been so much of it over the past few weeks that it seems like it's finally coming to fruition. However, I do wanted to talk about one thing that I saw that is going to make the NBA so much better to watch this year, and it is the rule where if you pump fake and you get a guy in the air and you jump into him to try and get a foul, the foul baiting, if you will. Refs aren't calling that this year. We saw it in FIBA, and it killed the Team USA. They were trying it left and right, and FIBA was not allowing it, and I like that. It makes the players, how do I describe it? It makes the players not rely on calls. You don't want to rely on calls for a game because then that's when controversy happens. I want to show one example of Steph Curry here, one of the league, the greatest, maybe the greatest point guard we've ever seen, and also a guy who really succeeded at foul baiting over these past few years. He tries his signature step back here, steps back, makes the defender come up to contest his shot, jumps into him and gets a three. No call, hits off the top of the backboard. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful job by the referee there. I don't know why it took them so long to change this, but I'm glad they did, and I think it's going to make the NBA a much better product. I don't think it'll affect players like Trae. It might affect players like Trae Young a little bit, but Trae Young does the thing where he gets the defender on his hip, and then he throws up the floater, and they're still running into him. That's still a foul this year. However, players like Luka and Steph are going to be affected heavily from this rule right here. And I think it'll make the NBA a much better product. I'm not saying that Steph Curry is still not going to average 30 points per game. He's the greatest point guard that I've ever watched in my eyes. But that rule will certainly make it more fun to watch this year because nobody wants to sit there and watch people shoot 10, 14 free throws a game off of just a good contest by the defender, but they foul baited and got it. That's all I wanted to say about that rule right there. Thank you, NBA, for changing that. Let's get into some Ben Simmons drama, man, because there has been a whole lot of it over this past month, pretty much since the Philadelphia 76ers got eliminated from the playoffs last year. He played probably the worst basketball that I've ever seen in my life from him. He was extremely unconfident with the ball in his hands. He was not shooting. He was not being aggressive. He was just pass first. When you are a 6'10 guard who can dunk on anybody and has one of the best handles in the league and the best defense in the league, you cannot be just a passer. I think Ben Simmons is a great player. I've defended him on numerous occasions now. I just think he has had a mental block since probably last year, midway through last year, whenever he realized that things weren't going right in Philadelphia. I think a change of scenery would be perfect for him. He believes so as well. He's wanted out for probably a month now. However, the package is just not there. The package isn't there yet. I think maybe by mid-season, if teams are underperforming or overperforming or however the league goes, I think a package could come through then for Ben Simmons. But he just reported to the facilities today to get his COVID shot. So he's back. I don't know if he'll play. He probably will, because if he does not play, he will be leaving $30 million on the table. You don't just leave $30 million on the table. I don't care what contract you have after this year, the next years after that. $30 million is a lot of money to not show up for. I don't blame him for that. And also, I'm excited to see him play basketball. He's posted some videos over the summer and over the break here that has showed him making some severe progress with his game, which, he does this every year. He posted some videos of him hitting step-back threes and a hook shot that he used to do in his rookie year that's just disappeared from his bag. He was going off against Joe Johnson and John Wall and a bunch of other washed-up players. Not washed up, but older guys who are still working on their game, I guess. He was absolutely dogging them and looked absolutely disgusting. If he could bring even half of that offensive arsenal that he had in the videos, the mixtape that he drops, Ben Simmons would be he could be an MVP candidate. He already has the defense. He's probably the best on-ball defender in the league, in my opinion. And if he could get even just a little bit of a jump shot, a little bit of a mid-range, post fadeaway, something. He just needs a little bit of an offensive arsenal in order to become a tremendous player. And I'm not saying that Philadelphia isn't the place for him to do that, but it seems like it's a little bit late for him. I think a change of scenery would be beautiful, but I really do think that teams are going off of recency bias. They saw that he played the worst basketball that he has ever the last time they saw him. So they're kind of trying to lowball the 76ers. And the 76ers are no. They just offered, I think that I saw that the offer was CJ McCollum and a bunch of first-round picks, maybe 4 first-round picks for Ben Simmons. Which, CJ McCollum could really do good in Philadelphia. We've never really seen CJ have his own team before, or have his own system where he's running the pick and roll with Joel Embiid. I think it would be really good. However, if I'm the Trailblazers, am I giving up my whole future and CJ McCollum, my wing guy to my best friend Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons? I might, but I would want to see what Ben Simmons does, and I would also see if I could lowball him, because his value right now is so low that you might as well. The Trailblazers always do fine in the regular season, so it's not like they're going to be terrible this year without Ben Simmons and with CJ McCollum. So I'd try to lowball, but it's a tough situation for Ben Simmons. It really is. He's in a city that hates him. They're burning his jersey, and Philadelphia is ruthless. I tell you, they are ruthless. He's going to get booed off the court in his first probably month, probably more, unless he starts averaging like 30 points per game, they are going to hate him. An emphasis on hate him. Other than that, I think that's going to be my first video. I'm going to wrap it up here, y'all. Might have been a little bit more long-winded than I wanted to be, but I wanted to really get into it. I really wanted to express my opinions. I really wanted to give y'all a first good look at what you would see from this channel. And believe me, I will make the quality better. Everything will be going up, 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 up. Let me know what you want to see in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And yeah, peace.